Hello again, sensational second graders, and welcome to English. Today we're going to be going over combining sentences. So you should have your English page 287, 288 in front of you, and it looks like this. All right, so here's our page. And it says combining sentences. Let's go ahead and read along together the square at the top of the page. It says, you can combine two sentences that have the same predicate part. The two subjects can be joined with the word and to make one sentence. So their examples say, Kayla rode the bike, Jen rode the bike. If we put those sentences together to combine them with the word and, then we're going to have Kayla and Jen rode the bike. Let's go ahead and look at another sentence. Here I have two sentences. I have the sentences, the girls like chocolate and the boys like chocolate. If I want to put those sentences together, I need to figure out what are my predicate parts. Well, boys and girls, they have the same predicate part, like chocolate. The subjects of the sentences are the girls and the boys. So if we're going to smash those two sentences together so we have more than one subject and we can combine the sentences, then we're going to change them so that it reads, the girls and boys like chocolate, or we could even say the girls and the boys like chocolate. So we're going to combine the sentences with the word and. The girls and boys like chocolate. Now, before we move on to our worksheet, let's take a look at this sentence that we just made. And let's figure out, boys and girls, we just said the subject of our sentence. The subjects are girls and boys. So the subject part or the naming part is girls and boys. We'll underline that. And then like chocolate. So the verb here is like. Circle the verb. And separate our sentence between the subjects and the verb, or the subjects and the predicate part. That's what we've been practicing this week. Subjects, predicates, two parts to every sentence, how we separate them, and how the sentence looks. Let's go ahead then and look at our worksheet. Let me get that in front of us. Here we go. Today, boys and girls, we're going to draw a line between the subject part and the predicate part. We just did that. Then we're going to underline the subjects that could be joined with and to make one sentence. So are you ready? First, we need to know we're going to draw a line between the subject part and predicate part. Draw that line. And underline the subjects that could be joined with and to make one sentence. Are you ready? Okay. Paul wrote letters. What do we need to do there? First, we have to draw a line between the subject part and the predicate part. So the subject is who? Who is this sentence about? Paul. Very good. And what did Paul do? What is his action? What is the verb? Wrote letters. Awesome. So draw your line between Paul and wrote. And underline the subject, Paul. We just said Paul's who it was about, right? Good job. So then we have John wrote letters. So John would be our subject. Wrote letters would be the predicate. And so if we were going to smash those two together, those two sentences, we would have Paul and John wrote letters. Let's do number 2. The boys read the Bible. The girls read the Bible. Following our directions, we need to draw a line between the subject part and the predicate part. So what's the action? The action is read. So we'll draw our lines there between boys read and girls read. And the subject, boys and girls, who reads? Well, in the first sentence, it's the boys, so boys read. And in the second sentence, it's girls read. All righty, I'm gonna let you do number 3 on your own. Let's look at number 4. Number 4 says, draw a line between the subject part and the predicate part. So we'll draw our line between subject part and predicate part. And then we're going to underline the subjects and join them with and to make one sentence. So underline the subjects and then we'll join them this time. So are you ready? Okay, let's go. Kylie ate pizza. First, let's identify the verb. What did Kylie do? She ate. So we need to separate our sentence between the subject part, which is who or what, and the verb, which is ate. So we'll go ahead and draw a line between Kylie and ate. And then boys and girls, can you tell me who ate? Kylie ate. So she's our subject. So then we also have Mark ate pizza. Same steps. What's the action there? Ate is the action. Who ate? Mark ate. So we're going to draw our line between Mark and ate. Underline Mark. And we're going to squish those two sentences together to make one using the word and. So we'll have Kylie and Mark ate pizza. Go ahead and write that down. Kylie and Mark ate pizza. Awesome possum, second graders. I'm going to have you try and do number 5 on your own. Turn your paper over and let's see. We're going to look at drawing a line between the subject part and the predicate part. Underline the subjects that could be joined with and to make one sentence. So just like we did on the first side, this is going to be your practice. I'm going to let you guys do that on your own. Remember, a good clue is to find the verbs first. And remember, what is a verb? A verb is a word. It's an action word. If you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. It's a verb. So if you're not sure, look for things that you can do. Scroll, let's look a little further down on our paper. We have to draw a line between the subject part and the predicate part. Go ahead and draw your line so we remember to do that. And then underline the subjects and join them with and to make one sentence. Boys and girls, go ahead and get started. If you need some more help, stay tuned and I'm going to finish the page with you. If you don't need me, tune in later to check your paper. Bye, guys. Okay, so if you're still here, I think you want to complete this page with me, so let's go ahead and do number 3. Going back to page 287, number 3 says, Joshua prayed to God. Boys and girls, finding our verb first. The verb there is what? Prayed. Who prayed? Joshua prayed. So we're going to separate that sentence between Joshua and prayed. And we're going to underline the subject, and that's Joshua. Same thing with Zoe prayed to God. Action is prayed, so that's our verb, or our predicate part is prayed to God. Who prayed to God? Zoe. All right, so if we were to squish those together with the word and, we would read Joshua and Zoe prayed to God. So let's move on to number 5. Number 5, we had to follow our directions to draw a line between the subject part and the predicate part and underline the subjects and join them with and to make one sentence. So the boy ran a race, the girl ran a race. Let's go ahead and separate our sentences first with what is our action there? Ran. Who ran? Boy. So separate between boy and ran, separate between girl and ran, and the subject is boy in the first sentence and the subject is girl in the second sentence. So to make one sentence using the word and, we should have the boy and girl ran a race. So we're going to say the boy and. Now, boys and girls, you could say the boy and the girl, or you can say the boy and girl ran a race. We'll say the boy and the girl ran a race. Okay, so far so good. If you have questions, set it aside. We'll go over it together when we talk on the phone. Okay, let's move on to the next side of the page. And we had to draw a line between the subject part and the predicate part. Let's go ahead and draw that line in our direction so we remember. And underline the subjects that could be joined with and to make one sentence. Remember, we have to look for the verbs first, and the verb is the action word. So when we see Peter caught fish, what's the action? Caught. Who caught? Peter caught. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to separate our sentence between Peter and caught. And then we have to underline the subjects that could be joined with and in order to make one sentence. So Peter caught. Then we also, for the second sentence there, we said caught was our action or our verb, and Andrew caught. So if we were to merge those sentences or combine them, they would say Peter and Andrew caught fish. Go to number 7, and we're looking at John followed Jesus. Boys and girls, what's the action there? What can you do? You can follow. So who followed? John followed. Very good. And John followed Jesus. So John is our subject. In the second one, our subject would be Matthew, and we have the same predicate part. So we have John and Matthew followed Jesus. And finally, we have Paul went on a ship and Luke went on a ship. What is the action in those two sentences? The action is went on a ship, right? Predicate part, went on a ship. Action is went. Who went? Paul went. So we'll separate between Paul and went, and we'll separate between Luke and went. And then we would read it as Paul and Luke went on a ship. Second graders, you ready? Let's move on, finish up this paper. We have to draw a line between the subject part and the predicate part and underline the subjects and join them with and to make one sentence. So we have a few things to do here. Stay with me and let's do them together. Drawing a line between the subject part and the predicate part, let's do that first. The boys went to camp. The girls went to camp. What is the predicate part? Well, the action there's went. So we're going to separate between boys went and girls went. And then you have to ask yourself, who or what went? Boys, girls. So our new sentence should read, the boys and the girls went to camp. Let's go ahead and write that in. The boys and the girls went to camp. Good job, second graders. Let's look at number 10. Last one for today's paper. Robert saw a bear. Jake saw a bear. First thing we have to do is find the action. What is the action there? Saw. Very good. So we would separate our sentences between the subject, who saw, Robert, and the predicate, saw a bear. So there's my line. And who saw? We said Robert saw. Same predicate for both sentences. So that's the easy part. And then if we squish them together, we're going to say Robert and Jake saw a bear. Don't forget that your sentence has to start with a capital letter. And every proper noun or name is starting with a capital as well. So Robert and Jake saw a bear. Okay, second graders, that'll do it for your English for today. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.